let's settle one of the most hotly debated topics among riders. What's the best final drive system for your motorcycle? Chain, belt, or shaft? Each of these systems has its die-hard fans, and each comes with its own pros, cons, and quirks. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one suits your riding style, your budget, and your sanity. Let's start at the beginning. When you twist your throttle, what happens next isn't magic, it's mechanics. Your engine creates rotational power, which travels through the transmission, and from there, it needs to get to your rear wheel to move the bike forward. That final leg of the journey is handled by what we call the final drive. The final drive is essentially the system that connects your gearbox output to your rear wheel. It takes the spinning force from your engine and makes sure that force turns your rear wheel at the right speed and torque to move the bike. There are three main ways manufacturers make this connection: with a chain, a belt, or a shaft. Each method has its own history, technology, and loyal followers. Chains are the oldest and most common, known for being lightweight and efficient. Belts are the cleaner, quieter cousin, often seen on cruisers and commuter bikes. And shafts are the low-maintenance, sealed alternative, found on tourers and adventure bikes that rack up serious miles. Choosing a final drive isn't just a technical detail. It shapes how your bike feels, how often you'll be doing maintenance, and how much you'll spend over the life of your machine. Understanding how each system works and what it offers is key to picking the right motorcycle for your riding style. So let's break them down and find out which one's really better. Before we dive deeper, drop a comment below. What drive system do you ride with? And don't forget to subscribe for more no-nonsense motorcycle insights. When it comes to motorcycles, the chain drive is the tried-and-true classic. It's been around since the earliest days of motorcycling, and it remains the most common final drive on bikes today, especially where performance matters. Chains are simple in concept. A loop of metal links connects two sprockets, one on the gearbox, the other on the rear wheel. The result? A highly efficient direct transfer of power. Chains are lightweight, they deliver minimal power loss between the engine and the wheel, and they're easy to adjust or customize. That's why sport bikes, dirt bikes, and most naked bikes use chains. Whether you want blistering acceleration, razor-sharp throttle response, or the flexibility to change your gear ratios with different sprockets, chains deliver. But chains come at a cost, and that cost is maintenance. Chains require regular cleaning, lubrication, and tension adjustments. Neglect your chain, and it'll stretch, wear out your sprockets, or worse, fail when you least expect it. They're also messy. Chain lube tends to fling off at speed, leaving oily spots on your swing arm, rear wheel, and even your riding gear. And while chains are relatively affordable to replace, they generally don't last as long as belts or shafts. Expect anywhere from 15,000 to 25,000 miles, depending on your care and riding style. Still, for pure performance, nothing beats the chain. It's the system of choice when you want every bit of engine power to hit the road. So, chains offer raw performance. But what if you want something smoother and easier to live with? Let's look at belts. If the chain is the scrappy performance king, the belt drive is the smooth operator. Belt drives first gained popularity on early motorcycles, faded for decades, and then made a strong comeback, especially among cruisers, tourers, and commuter bikes. So what makes a belt drive different? Instead of metal links like a chain, the belt is made from tough, flexible materials like reinforced rubber, carbon fiber, or Kevlar. It wraps around toothed pulleys that replace traditional sprockets. This setup brings several advantages that appeal to riders who want ease and refinement over raw performance. First, belt drives are quiet. There's no metal-on-metal contact, so you don't hear that constant mechanical whir or clatter you get with a chain. The power delivery is smoother too, with no jerky lash or vibration when you open the throttle. Then there's maintenance, or the lack of it. A belt doesn't need lubrication, so you can forget about cleaning off messy fling. And tension adjustments are rare compared to chains. A belt is also remarkably durable, often lasting between 30,000 and 60,000 miles under normal use. But belts aren't perfect. They don't handle extreme torque, as well as chains, so you won't see them on superbikes. They're vulnerable to damage from debris like sharp rocks, and if a belt fails, roadside repairs are nearly impossible. Plus, you can't easily change your gearing the way you can with chains. For smooth, low-fuss riding, though, belts are hard to beat. Belts give you quiet, low-maintenance riding. But what if you want to almost forget about the final drive altogether? That's where shaft drives come in. If chains are for performance and belts are for refinement, shaft drives are for riders who simply want to ride, mile after mile, with as little hassle as possible. Shaft drives work very differently from chains and belts. Instead of an external loop or belt, the shaft system uses enclosed gears and a rotating shaft, like a miniature version of what you'd find in a car. Power leaves the gearbox, enters the shaft housing, spins down the shaft, and is redirected at the rear wheel via a bevel gear or universal joint. What's the big appeal? Low maintenance. Really low. A shaft drive is sealed and self-contained, so you don't have to deal with lubrication splatter, chain adjustments, or cleaning. Most riders will only need to change the shaft oil at scheduled intervals, often every 10,000 to 20,000 miles. And that's about it. Shaft drives are also incredibly durable. It's not uncommon for a shaft system to go 100,000 miles or more without needing serious work. And they're clean. No chain lube on your wheels or clothes. But shaft drives aren't without trade-offs. They're heavy. The added weight, particularly unsprung weight at the rear, can dull handling. Shafts also tend to absorb a little more engine power, slightly reducing acceleration and efficiency. And if a shaft drive fails, repairs can be complex and costly. For long-distance tourers or riders who want reliability with zero fuss, the shaft drive is a brilliant solution. We've covered the three main types, but which one really fits your style of riding? Let's break it down. After breaking down the details, we get to the question every rider asks: which drive system is actually better? The real answer depends entirely on what kind of rider you are, because each system shines in different scenarios. If your priority is performance, the chain is still king. Chains give you the most direct connection between the engine and the rear wheel with minimal power loss. That means quicker acceleration, better throttle response, and maximum flexibility if you want to change gearing or tune your bike's character. Riders who push limits on sport bikes, dirt bikes, or custom builds tend to choose chains for a reason. If you want something smoother and lower maintenance, the belt is hard to beat. Belts provide quiet, clean operation and can last twice as long as chains, sometimes longer. They're perfect for cruisers, commuters, and anyone who values simplicity without sacrificing too much performance. If your dream is to just ride and forget about maintenance, the shaft drive is your friend. Shafts are durable, sealed, and need barely any attention other than the occasional fluid change. They're ideal for long-distance touring, adventure bikes, and riders who value reliability above all else. So, better isn't universal, it's personal. What's better is what matches your style, your priorities, and your riding conditions. Understanding that is what makes the right final drive choice clear. Of course, choosing a final drive isn't just about performance or riding style, it's also about what it's going to cost you over time. Let's break down the real-world costs. Chains are typically the cheapest to buy and replace. A decent chain and sprocket set might set you back a few $100s, and with regular maintenance, you'll get somewhere between 15,000 and 25,000 miles out of it. But there's the catch. Chains require frequent attention. Cleaning, lubing, adjusting. It adds up in both time and money. Belts, on the other hand, cost more upfront. Replacing a belt and pulleys can easily be double or even triple the cost of a chain setup. But belts can last 30,000 to 60,000 miles, with barely any maintenance at all. No chain lube, no frequent adjustments. So while you pay more initially, you might save over the long haul. Shaft drives are the most expensive option at purchase. The bikes that use them cost more, and if anything goes wrong inside that sealed system, repairs aren't cheap. But shaft drives are designed to last, often 100,000 miles or more, with just basic fluid changes. That makes them a smart investment if you plan to keep your bike for the long term. So, after looking at performance, maintenance, and cost, which final drive is truly the best? The truth is, there's no single winner. It all depends on what you value most in your riding experience. If you're chasing every ounce of performance, whether on the street, track, or trail, the chain is still the undisputed champion. It's lightweight, efficient, and flexible, giving you the option to tweak gearing or squeeze out every bit of power. Just remember, that performance comes with the price of regular upkeep. If you want a smoother, cleaner ride without all the mess and fuss, the belt drive stands out. It's the sweet spot for riders who want low maintenance and a quiet, refined feel. Perfect for cruisers, commuters, and light tourers. It might cost more at replacement time, but belts can give you serious mileage with barely any attention. And if you want to ride for miles without thinking twice about your final drive, the shaft drive is the ultimate set-it-and-forget-it solution. Built for touring, adventure, and long-haul reliability, it's the go-to for riders who care more about longevity and less about outright performance. In the end, the best final drive is the one that fits your riding style, your priorities, and your budget. Chains, belts, shafts, they all get the job done. The key is picking the one that makes every ride better for you. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share your choice. Chain, belt, or shaft. Ride safe out there.